don't go. Baby, please don't go. Baby, please don't go back to New Orleans. You know it hurts me so.
Hello and welcome to the Marxism Today podcast. My name is Red Wagner and I'll be your host. You are listening to episode 8, Alienation. Marx was not like modern scholars. Today, academics study one discipline. Economists, anthropologists, politicians, and literary scholars all keep their mind and their studies buried in their departments. Their seclusion from the rest of the world, their isolation, helps keep them from looking at a bigger picture. Marx is part of an entirely different breed of scholar, a type who are much more rare today. Marx might be best known for being both a revolutionary and an economist. He was not the only, nor even the first person to attack capitalism, but he did provide the most scientific and comprehensive understanding of capitalism and how capitalism functions. To do this, he used economics, anthropology, literary criticism, psychology, and more. Marx's concept of alienation, our topic for today, is most closely related to psychology. But it is important to note that each part of Marx's theory is connected. When we look at psychology and alienation, we don't ignore economics. In fact, we look to see how economics has shaped and influenced human minds. As you will see today, alienation is a particular state of the human mind produced by how we organize the economy. Capitalist economics do not just produce goods and services. Nike doesn't just make shoes. Nike also creates feelings and emotions in the minds of their workers. A fast food place doesn't just make burgers. It also produces alienation in its employees. In turn, this alienation then presents itself in capitalist culture. We see this most prominently in music and film. So certain economics produce certain feelings and emotions, and those feelings and emotions lead us to produce and consume certain media. Our Marxist approach will be looking at how economics, psychology, and art, as well as other fields, are all related. Marxism allows us to see these things working together as one large system. Alienation has long been an important concept in Marxist theory. But what is alienation? Alienation comes from the word alien. Of course, we don't mean aliens from outer space, and we don't mean illegal immigrants. Alien means something outside, something foreign. So when we experience alienation, we feel disconnected. It's a feeling of not caring or of being used. It's the feeling of being a cog in a machine and having no real control over where you go and what you do. Alienation can and does take several forms. Today, we'll look at just one. Workers are alienated from the products of their labor. In a capitalist economy, a worker gets up and goes to work in the morning. All day, the worker uses his mind and body to make something: shoes, pizza, furniture. At the end of the day, if it's a payday, the worker gets a check. Thank you very much, here's your money, we'll see you on Monday. But that worker cannot take home the products of his labor. What would happen if a worker decided to bring home the shoes, pizza, or furniture he made during his day's work? You know the answer. The police would be looking for him. That's not how capitalism works. In capitalism, he must leave behind his day's work. It doesn't belong to him. It belongs to another person, someone who didn't do the work to create it, who probably hasn't even seen it, and likely will sell it without ever touching it. The capitalist, the boss. In a corporation, the board of directors. If you have ever written fiction or poetry, if you've ever painted or sculpted a piece of art, if you've ever built a guitar from scratch or made a playset for your children, grown your own garden, or 100 different activities we do for our own pleasure. If you have done something like this, then you know when you use your mind and body to make something, you have a special connection to it. It is yours. If you've ever worked as a writing tutor or a writing teacher, you know that people can get very attached to what they've written. They can see critiques of their works as personal attacks. This is because they feel the connection between themselves and the fruits of their labor. But people don't usually care about the work at their jobs as much as they care about the work they do for pleasure. Why is that? Why do I feel a special connection to a poem I've written for my sweetheart, but I could hardly care less about some piece of paperwork I've done at my job? Alienation. In a capitalist economy, we are alienated from the products of our labor. We don't care about them. Yes, we want to do well enough to keep our jobs and to avoid getting in trouble with the boss, but we don't have that special connection we do when we make something outside the realm of capitalist production. In fact, we don't expect to. Every mode of production presents itself as normal, as the way things have always been. It's hard for us to even imagine what it would be like to care about our work. Many of you have heard the old saying about how a fish doesn't realize it's in water because it has been in water all its life. The same is true for us with capitalism. We don't know it's there because it's all around us. The way we feel today seems normal because it's all we know. We are accustomed to alienation. But by no means is this capitalist alienation inevitable. It is a product of our economy. Just as our economy makes shoes and breakfast cereals and washing machines, so it also produces a deep alienation. We sacrifice years of our lives to drudgery, to work we don't care about, to doing things to make money for someone else, because this is what our economic system demands. Workers must be alienated from the products of their labor, or the capitalist system could not function. I'll be doing something new today. I'm going to end the podcast with a quote by Marx. I've updated the language only slightly. On the topic of workers' alienation, Marx wrote the following. The workers feel destroyed in their alienation, and they see in it their own impotence and the reality of an inhuman existence. For Marx, a life spent on things you didn't care about, working to make money for someone else, having to sacrifice your own interests and endeavors to produce a commodity only to be separated from it over and over again, was not how humans should live. Alienation turns people into cogs. At work, they become nothing more than a workhorse, a mule, an animal, or a robot. By being separated from the products of their own labor, workers can see that in this economy they do not hold power. It is at the workplace that we can most clearly see the relations of our world. Workers like you and me do the work. Bosses get what we've made and pay us whatever they like.
Baby, please don't go. Baby, please don't go. Baby, please don't go back to New Orleans. You know it hurts me so.
This episode is part of the Marxism Today podcast series. Marxism Today is recorded, mixed, edited, produced, and maintained by Red Wagner. It is distributed freely and licensed under the Creative Commons Attribution Non-Commercial Share-alike 3.0 license. To find out more about the Marxism Today podcast, visit our website at marxismtodaypodcast.wordpress.com, where you can find archives of all of our episodes available for download. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.